Hey guys, for this video I'm going to do a movie review of Insidious, The Red Door. I mean, I love the first one. I think I like the second one. Third or fourth one, I don't remember much about. I need to rewatch the last three, let's just put it that way. I was excited to watch this one. And honestly, I was kind of disappointed. I felt like the story did nothing new. I guess I'll get into the story. This movie follows Dalton. He's actually, I'm assuming like 18. He's going to college. And the movie starts at the funeral of Josh's mother. So she has died, and we get, it's been revealed that Dalton and Josh have gotten hypnosis so that they will not remember what happened. Dalton going to coma and going to the further, and then Josh also going to the further and becoming possessed. So it's been suppressed, and so it kind of created this rift between the two of them. And so we get the scene where Josh is sitting in the car, and his Renee has suggested that he asked Dalton whether or not Dalton would be fine with him driving him to school. And so as he's, texting him, we see in out the back window, this movement, and there's this blurred figure that slowly approaches the back window, and then it stops right as Josh, he moves in front of the figure and then moves back, and it has vanished. So it's a really creepy scene. One of the first creepy scenes. And so, yeah. But Dalton agrees that, is fine with his father taking him to college. And so they go to college, and he's helping him unpack. But then they get into a fight, and he ends up saying some stuff they regret and end up leaving. And then Dalton, because he wants to be an artist, he has this art class that he goes to, and the teacher there tells them to draw a picture, and so Dalton ends up drawing this door, and she actually has him count down from 10, and then he draws a picture. So I think that was kind of I guess you would say counteracted the hypnotism, because they also did that when they were hypnotizing him. They were doing a countdown. So it kind of, I think, awakened a memory. And so essentially, I guess, opening a door metaphorically. And so he ends up starting to have visions. Or not visions. He starts seeing, the dead people or spirits that are leaking into this world now that I guess Dalton remembers, and he's susceptible to the spirits now. So they have kind of a way into this world. So he starts seeing things, and then eventually he's able to, astral project himself out of his body, whatever you call that. And he's able to go to the further, and he decides to do this again, and so he does it again, but he ends up meeting the lipstick faced demon. What was that? What was he called? The creeper from the first one. And he has to kind of, I guess, face his demons, if you will, and Josh is also having to do that because he's also having I don't think he's necessarily seeing spirits, he's more like just having nightmares. And so he ends up talking to Renee, and it's ultimately revealed what happened. You know, he'd become possessed and tried to kill them all, and it traumatized the children, and so they decided to get hypnosis to make them forget about it. And I guess Renee's the only one who remembers about what happens. Everyone else was like hypnotized to forget it. Ultimately, Dalton goes into the further, and he gets stuck there, and his body becomes possessed, which was another creepy scene where the girl is like, what was it she was doing? Oh, she had like Christmas lights, and she was wanting to string it around his room to light up the room because he was afraid of the dark. And so she's talking there, and she's talking, and he's like right behind her, and he's like not moved at all. And then you know that he's possessed, and you know, we get the, you know, eventual reveal. He has that creepy ass smile on his face, and yeah, it was a creepy scene. So eventually, I guess I'll just say, long story short, Josh was able to go to the further and help free Dalton, and yeah, and I guess he is able to defeat the spirits by painting over the door in the painting. So again, metaphorically, I guess, closing the door to everything. It was, like I said, it did nothing creative, or it did nothing different, and it was disappointing to me. And also, I think they kind of, I won't say ruined him, but just in this movie, the lipstick-faced demon, whatever, he wasn't as effective, because in the first one they used him sparingly, and so it was a lot creepier. In this one, we actually get like a full look at him for long periods of time, and so it wasn't as effective, I think. There was a part, one of the kind of underlying themes was that Josh was afraid of becoming like his father because he thinks his father abandoned him and his mother, and so he's afraid of being like his father, and I think that kind of bleeds into his relationship with his children, and so ultimately it's revealed that his father killed himself because I guess he is also, she's like, you know, he was also having like supernatural experiences or whatever, and he killed himself to protect his children from that. And so also, like when he goes into the further, he eventually meets his father, and they kind of have this really sweet moment where they kind of come to peace, I guess. They have closure, and so I did like that part of the movie. But like I said, ultimately, it was very boring, I guess. But there were a few effective scares that, you know, out of like all the horror movies I've seen this year have effectively scared me. Of course, jump scares are most effective with me. Just that anticipation and just waiting for that loud noise, because I'm also very susceptible to loud noises. So having that is very much, you know, let's just say I didn't unclench the entire time. The one that was the most effective, it was in the trailer, the one where he's in the MRI machine. This one, it was a lot longer, and so he's in the... Sorry. He's in the MRI machine, and, you know, the lights go out, and so he's starting to panic. And then we're looking at his face, and then slowly you see hands come, because they're facing like up and down. So we see the hands reaching down, and then he like, I guess he senses it, and so he looks up, looks back behind him, and there's nothing there. And then, you know, you start hearing some noises, so he looks down, and I can't remember which creature it was, but there's a ghost or a spirit that is running up the MR machine, and that freaked me out as well. I think it's just the idea of being trapped. Sorry. I'm tired. I think it's just the idea of being trapped in this like tube and having something come at you and not being able to move at all. So it was very much kind of terrifying for me. But not so much so that when I got home I was like scared of going to sleep. It was just once I left the theater I was fine. So yeah, there are few effective scares, but ultimately it was very boring for me. The acting was okay, nothing special. I will say I'm disappointed. I'll see The Nun too, because I love horror movies anyway, so see. Although I don't remember much about the first Nun movie either, so we'll see. So yeah, I think that's it. So if you did like this review, give it a like, subscribe to get notifications for all the videos I'll be doing. You guys have a nice night, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you later.